All right. Well, welcome to live session for National University Management 422 Team Building Interpersonal Dynamics. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd. And now that we got Thanksgiving out of the way, it's full steam ahead to Christmas now, isn't it? Yes, Thanksgiving holiday was great. Thank you. Hope the same for you as well. It was tiring, a lot of work, a lot of good food though, good seeing family. So it did not disappoint. All right. Well, a couple of things wanted to cover this evening. Oh, okay, no problem. Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Thank you for the IM. I appreciate that. Okay. Well, a few things I wanted to cover for this evening. Why don't we, I'm in discussions. Why don't we go ahead? And of course, if there's any questions along the way or any questions you have, please let me know. Let's see here. All right. For week two discussion, due by Wednesday, review the team process below, which is the Tuckman 5 stage model that I brought up last week. I created the video, and then there's this table kind of breaks it down into um, characteristics and action required type of so stage characteristics, actions required. It's a nice kind of walkthrough of what that looks like. So due by Wednesday, review the team process below. Then, using textbook ideas and external authorized research properly cited, comment on your team stage. So that's going to be your initial post, right? Your team stage. So where you're at. Um, you're probably past forming by now. Hopefully, since it's just a 4 week class, hopefully y'all were able to get performing quickly, because ideally that's where you want to be. Now, of course, in team cycles, you could get to performing and then backslide back to storming. It's hopefully you get to performing and able to stay there. But those are the cycles. And so your team stage, where you're at, and name. Okay. So that's number one. And number two, this is all your initial post due by Wednesday. The utility of this expanded Tuckman model. So I wanted to put in some further definition of what the phrase the utility of the expanded tech model refers to, evaluating the usefulness and practicality of the expanded version of Tuckman's team development model in understanding and managing team dynamics. So what we have here is Tuckman's model, which again was created in 1965, then updated for that last segment, adjourning, I think, in 73, something like that. So that's the model that's been there for quite some time. So what we're saying here is the original Tuckman model outlined 4 stages of team development with adjourning added later. An expanded version, so that's what you're looking to, is first, where is your team at with Tuckman's model and the name? Then the utility of this expanded Tuckman model. So what the assignment's asking you to do is, where are you at on the existing model, and discuss it, and then expand on it, right? So an expanded version might include additional stages, more detailed explanations, or alternative framework that provide greater insights into team processes. So that's what it's saying, is take this existing model and expand on it somehow. I mean, it has been the staple for many years, but part of this assignment is to say, okay, here's the model, expand it. In this context, you're being asked to consider how this expanded model applies to your team's current stage and dynamics. For example, which stage best reflects your team's current state? And how does the expanded model help you understand the stage more comprehensively? So, for example, which stage best reflects your team's current state? You could be maybe at norming right now, right? But everybody kind of gets to know each other and accepts everybody. So if you're at norming, so for example, which stage best reflects your team's current state? Say norming. And how does the expanded model help you understand this stage more comprehensively? So one of the things that we think about, like from 1965 to current, which is, over half a century, there's been a lot of just research, just the interactions of people and how, mental health plays into things. We know a lot more today over the last half a century just about people. So what Tuckman might have known back then about norming, where people are coming together and kind of gelling, we know a lot more today about human behavior than Mr. Tuckman did back then. So that's an example where you can do some additional research today and just expand on this norming. Again, I'm just using it as an example, but expand on this norming part of the model and, kind of the what and the why and how and things of that nature of what we know about human behavior and interaction today than, back then. All right, so that's an example. And then two, the value or effectiveness of using the expanded Tuckman model. Does it provide deeper insights or tools that are more helpful than the original model? How does it contribute to improving team collaboration or resolving conflict? So ultimately, like again, due by Wednesday, your team stage and name, and then the utility of this expanded Tuckman model. And that's where I put in red here is giving you more definition of what utility is really asking. All right, so it's going to be one, and then two. That two is going to be that expanded model of your choice as it fits that. All right, so that's your initial post, and then due between Thursday and Saturday, interact with two classmates who are not on your team using relevant textbook ideas and external authorized research properly cited. So ultimately, initial post by Wednesday, and then of course your two peer interactions. Okay, and so this is a little bit more. That's why I want to take some time to go through this. I think this is a little deeper exercise for a week discussion. So, all right. And I know you're any questions, Alexis, or does that make sense? Understood. Okay, thank you. No, you. So, Alexis sent me a message over here and said, understood. Thank you. The Tuckman model seems like a natural flow of how a team would interact, or at least how it is in the military. I agree with you. I don't have any service experience, but just working in teams pretty much my whole work life. It is a pretty natural flow for sure. So okay, great. All right. So that is the discussion. So let's see. This week you all have a quiz. It's, I think, yeah, week 2 midterm. So the quiz is 25 points, and it gives you 2 hours. Let's see, is that in 4, Stephen? Let's see. The time limit, minutes. Yeah, just add on. So let's make it 140 minutes. Give you a little extra time there. So is 140 minutes. So that should be plenty of time to go through the test. And it's a 25 question quiz, which will assess your knowledge of this week's learning resources. Okay. So a lot of time, the reason I wanted to touch on this, and understandably, because a lot of times students will ask, well, what is it covering, right? To understand how much you need to study and where to study. So, for example, as you can see, this here's a question right here of what you can expect. So here's teams do not require. So remember, the 25 are true, false, and multiple choice. So you do have that. And these questions, it's actually a question bank. So this one right here is at the top, but when you all take it, it may or may not be in your the questions you get. However, I'm going to read it so you can get a flavor of what the questions look like. Teams do not require an agreed upon working approach as long as they are. Let's see here. Teams do not require an agreed upon working approach as long as they are achieving their goals. And so that's a true or false, and the answer is false, right? Teams do require an agreed upon working approach to achieve their goals. Other than that, it's like a shotgun effect, right? So, like I said, you may or may not get this one because it comes out of a bank of questions. So that'll give you an idea of what the questions look like. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Any questions on that one? Okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. All right. And so when we think about week 2, those are really the two main deliverables is your discussion, which is a little lengthier, and then your test. I do want to take a minute to just touch on the week 3 assignment team paper. I'll just I won't spend a lot of time here because I will go over it in more detail next week. However, since it is a team paper, it's good to at least get a glimpse into what's around the corner so you can start preparing for it. So, okay. So instructions for the team research paper. The second paper for this course is a team research paper. I should say assignment. Because who really turns in paper anymore? Or can type, apparently. Okay, this assignment requires an 8-page double space paper that includes a minimum of, and now this seems like a lot, but this is what the school is requiring, includes a minimum of 10 make it bold and red. Includes a minimum of 10 properly documented references. Please note that the APA cover page and reference pages are not included in the 8-page count. Easy for me to say. So that's what that looks like. Your team is responsible for selecting a relevant management topic of mutual interest for this research assignment. So ultimately, a management topic that your group agrees upon. Ensure that the chosen topic is both engaging and appropriate for in-depth analysis. Now, what I did do, I did add some examples. Here are some examples of relevant management topics your team could consider for your research paper. Strategic management topics, human resource management topics, operations management topics, leadership and organizational behavior topics, technology and innovation management topics, ethics and corporate social responsibility topics. Now, and then they have, sub, like that's the main topic, but these would be, transformative leadership, managing cross-functional teams, the impact of emotional intelligence. So those would be some kind of subtopics of that. Again, not required. These here I put merely as an example. You could pick one of these. I don't think so, because that was this. It shouldn't be. That would have been for your team agreement and first assignment, and this would be. Let me see here. Let me double check. Work. Good question. Let's check that out. So looking at pay team agreement 1, team, his name. No, yeah. So what y'all wrote for assignment 1 was, of course, the team agreement, and then part of that was research on forming an electronic team, minimum 2 references, etc., etc. So, yeah, good question, but this one would be completely separate, different. So yeah, like I said, I put in these management topics. Welcome to use any of these or something else if you prefer. But at least it gives you an idea what we're talking about and consistency, etc. All right. So what does the breakdown look like? Clear and concise statement of the problem includes the purpose or scope of the paper. Major points and subtopics include include 5 key points or subtopics, demonstrate proper spelling throughout a course, analysis and recommendation, provide clear and concise analysis with actionable recommendations, visual elements, formatting, and APA compliance. So that is a glimpse into what your week 3 assignment would look like. Well, that's what I had wanted to cover today. Alexis, did you have any other questions or anything that you would like to see before we adjourn? Well, you can select one of those topics by all means. So you can select one of the ones I listed there, or you can select one. You can do research and select a topic that if you wanted to, or if you have one already, then by all means you can use that. Or if you don't, if the group doesn't like any of these, then you can research others. What I wanted to do was put some examples down here for number 1A. Y'all could use one of them, or B, just so we're all on the same page, because relevant management topics is a pretty broad, you know, broad statement. So I wanted to make sure we all at least were on the same page with what that meant. So you can select one of these, or if you have a management topic that you prefer that's in alignment, then by all means you can do that one. Okay, yeah, definitely. Just trying to get ahead of the curve for week 3. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'll have this video posted probably tomorrow. Well, hopefully by noon. That's always my goal, but sometimes with work, but definitely try to have this posted by noon tomorrow. So those folks that didn't show up tonight can check it out. All right. Well, like I said, that's what I had planned to cover for this evening. Is there any other questions, or is there anything that you'd like me to cover that I didn't address this evening? Okay, great. Well, thank you for being here. Hope you get to feeling better, and have a good, safe evening. And hopefully, we'll see you next week. So, thank you again. Thank you. Appreciate it.